Central Oregon is home to all or parts of 4 of the state's 10 scenic byways, and it's ODOT's job to make sure that the highways themselves measure up to the high expectations that the lore about those roadways creates. And here in Central Oregon, the Oregon Outback Scenic Byway, or Highway 31, is no exception to the rule. And if you've got that spirit of adventure, this is the highway for you. It may start out just like many other highways in the state, a 2-lane strip of asphalt that carries motorists to their destination from its junction with US 97 just south of La Pine. But the Oregon Outback Scenic Byway quickly changes from a mere ribbon of road through the forest into a picture window of the ancient Great Basin where the past and present collide.
The Outback is really a high desert experience, and you're not going to see a lot of it. You're not going to see a lot of trees. You go to Fort Rock, which is really, really special. It's kind of an ancient Indian site where they had ceremonial type things. And then you kind of wind your way through Silver Lake and Summer Lake towards Lakeview. One time I was driving down that Highway 31, came around the corner, and there was a cowboy on the back of a horse giving me a slow down sign because there was a cattle drive right through the middle of the highway. So you just never can tell what you're going to expect on that byway.
The most telling feature of the Oregon Outback Scenic Byway, maybe its geology. Situated at the northern end of the Great Basin, home to what we commonly refer to as the Oregon High Desert, the byway takes travelers along a road definitely less traveled, but well worth the journey, where the adventurous discover sprawling landscapes, isolation, and spectacular geologic wonders like Fort Rock. Rising starkly from the floor of what was an Ice Age lake, the Fort Rock Formation is actually the leftovers of a volcanic eruption. Evidence of a more modern yet still historic lifestyle is found near Fort Rock at the Homestead Village, a sort of high desert museum. Descendants of early pioneers who wanted to preserve that period of history gathered early buildings together as a reminder of the past.
What got it going was a couple of the old homestead children came back as adults and saw that their heritage, you might say, was being destroyed, vandalized, and so forth. So they started the idea of having a museum that would preserve some of the buildings and then also maintain the museum for future visitors.
The Oregon Outback Scenic Byway stretches out 171 miles through some of the loneliest lengths of the Oregon countryside, but there are some gems to be found along the way, particularly here as the byway climbs to the top of Picture Rock Pass. Just at the top, there is a sight to be seen left to us by early inhabitants. It's a rock close enough to be seen from the highway and tells a story about a time with few other records. Picture Rock is cut with images carved by early Americans, more than a couple human figurines and more than a few animal images, but no one's quite sure what they mean. All we can do is imagine. The stark vertical rock formation leveling at the top, Table Rock, is a volcanic intrusion into the landscape that's hard to miss along the route of the Oregon Outback Scenic Byway, and it's one of the spectacular sights to be seen along the Central Oregon Highway. Now, the whole idea behind having a scenic highway system is to take motorists to a place that they can't ordinarily get to while they drive along some of the major highways across the country. And perhaps nowhere is that more apparent than right here on Highway 31, the Oregon Outback Scenic Highway, during a cattle drive. These days, Oregon's Outback is home to cattle and horse ranchers.
I love it. It's just a blessing. We're just privileged to be able to live this way and to live out in the country, and we really enjoy it.
Many ranchers in the area are descendants of homesteaders who came here expecting to farm the land. The arid climate clashed with those hopes, but some families found ways to stay on by ranching. And today, cattle outnumber the people here. Once a year in the fall, Dan Withers and his crew take their 800 head of cattle, the mother herd, from just outside Paisley northward to about the site of where in 1843 General John C. Fremont made his overwinter stay at Summer Lake. It's there the cattle endure the rigors of winter on the open range. It takes a full day of wrangling to move the herd along Highway 31.
All this country up through here is fenced, different pieces of private ground, and it would be real impractical to just go from field to field. And it was originally a stock drive anyway, and years ago, so we just put them out on the highway and head right up the road.
Oh yes, cars, trucks, trailers, and cattle all share the road. When they all come together on the highway, everyone travels at cow speed. ODOT Region 4 keeps the Outback National Scenic Byway in excellent shape for motorists all year long, and for those very special occasions when "Get along, little doggy" is a refrain heard once again across the Oregon Outback.